Welcome. In today's video, I'm going to take you through my editing process using Adobe Lightroom Classic. I'm an aviation photographer. It's my full-time job. Here we have a YouTube channel, Airliners Live, and I'm going to take you through how I edit my photos. We're using Adobe Lightroom Classic, as you can see, and I've selected one of the images, one of many images that we took. If you want to see the vlog, the link will be in the description when we went out and got these photos, and I took you through how I take my photos, the settings I use, the equipment I use. Make sure you go and check that out if you missed it. Now, we're shooting in RAW. I recommend shooting in RAW if you can, just because it retains a lot more information, so you can get a lot more out of the edit. And first thing I usually do is just pull the images into Lightroom. Usually we have a lot more along here, but I've just selected this one for today's tutorial. And I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to look at things like the text. I'm going to look at the front of the aircraft, make sure it's nice and sharp, look along, make sure we're looking pretty sharp all the way along. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. So we'd be good to go on this one. Now, depending on where you're posting your images, you'll want to choose a different aspect ratio, but for today we're just going to leave it in the original aspect ratio that the image was taken in. And what you want to do is hold shift and drag in, and by holding shift that just maintains the aspect ratio there. And in the top left hand side you can see how the image is going to look once it's been cropped as well. We can also use this auto tool, which, as you can see there, doesn't work all of the time. It's certainly not worked that time. So we're going to look at the tower and just try and make sure that tower is relatively straight. I'd say something like that is probably about right. And then just hit enter. Again, just have another quick look at that. I don't think we've got that quite right. Manchester Tower is fairly difficult sometimes to get looking straight, but that'll do. We're pretty happy with that. We can see we want to leave a bit of room around the aircraft there, so I'll just bring that up a slight bit as well and try and match the distance between the engines as well. Something like that. Again, just make little adjustments until you think it looks about where you want it. Yeah, something like this. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So, first things first. Some people don't do this. I think it's quite a good starting point. You've got an auto button here in the top right. Now, what this will do is it'll just allow Lightroom to go in and just adjust the balance of your image. And as you can see there, it's not done a bad job at all, in my opinion. Some people don't like to do this, but again, if something works and it makes your life easier, guys, there's no reason why you shouldn't use this as at least a base for your starting point in terms of the edit. So we're quite happy with that. We want to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's two buttons here as well. Remove chromatic aberration, give that a click, and also enable the profile correction. And what that will do is it'll allow Lightroom, if it detects the lens that you're using, to fix any sort of anomalies with regards to how the lens is working and things like that. So basically, as you can see there, it just kind of flattened the image out. Any sort of distortion and stuff like that, it just fixes automatically for you. Then we can go in and use our denoise as well. AI denoise on Lightroom is absolutely incredible these days. So we're going to click denoise. It's going to review the image, and then it's going to come in here and give you a few options. Now, depending on how powerful your computer is, this may take a little bit of time to complete. And what you want to look for in this process is the darker bits of the aircraft. So as you can see here, as you click on it, it shows you what it looks like now. As soon as you let go, you see how it's going to look. So it's probably doing a bit too much there. You can get it about there is fine, about 30%. I'm usually between sort of 25 and 35 on most of my images. And then just click enhance. This will take a second. As you can see in the top right, it says creating DNG using denoise. And then once that's complete, the image will look a lot cleaner. This tool is incredibly powerful. It's been added to Lightroom fairly recently, and it enables me to shoot confidently well up to 4000 ISO without worrying too much. Obviously this image was shot originally at 250 ISO, so we're not having to do much on the denoise here, but I regularly shoot wildlife photography and I'm regularly pushing high ISOs, and this AI denoise is fantastic for working with that. So there we go, you can see the image now is a lot cleaner. Now, one of the main tips and tricks that I use when I'm editing aviation photography is masking. Now, masking is where you select a certain part of the photo and just adjust those sections of the photos, and you can do it in stages, and that allows you to really fine-tune each section of the photo to make it look the best we can. So first thing I'm going to do is select the masking tool on the top right, and I'm going to select one of the predetermined options, which is sky. This will allow Lightroom to find the sky for you, and as you can see there, it's done a pretty good job. However, one thing to be careful of, as you can see, it has selected the tail there. We definitely don't want that. So you can go in, expand this, and you can, as you can see, you've got your layer mask. We can subtract from that layer mask, and I usually use a brush tool. Now, if we click 100% up here and just drag this box, we can go in using the scroll wheel to remove any pink areas here that are touching the plane. We don't want any of this mask adjusting the plane because we're literally here just to do the sky at the moment. So I'm going to go through quickly and just remove this mask. You just do that by left clicking. You don't have to be too accurate. Again, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to spend as much time on it as I would do if I was just doing this for myself. But you basically just want to go ahead and remove any red that is touching the aircraft as well. It's also caught a bit of the front of the aircraft as well, so we'll get rid of that. I'm just having a quick scan around. It doesn't look like it's affected the tower, which is awesome, and it has missed a little bit under the wing here. So just like we subtracted, we can also add in as well, and we can just add that sky area in there. Again, I'm really not spending as much time on this chat as I should do, but there we go. So now we've got this selected. What that's done is it's made this selection directly editable. So anything we now change while this mask tool is selected is only going to affect this area. So with sky, first thing I do is go in and add a bit of denoise. As you can see, that really brings out the definition in the clouds, makes it look a bit more dramatic. That's usually step one. Again, have a quick look on the contrast. This adjusts the dark points and the light points in your image, again, just to really define those clouds. And if you feel like you want a bit more brightness in the white clouds as well, you can just lift the whites up slightly, and again, just find a nice balance there, which I think we're looking pretty good on that for now. Step two for me will be to create another mask, and then we are going to choose subject. This will again allow Lightroom to detect the plane, hopefully, although I suspect, yep, it will grab the tower. So we want to go in again, subtract with our brush, and just remove the tower from the selection. We're going to be messing with the tower when we're editing the image as a whole, so we don't need that selected there. And we're just going to add in with the brush the extra bit of the wing that it missed. Lightroom does a pretty good job, guys, of selecting your subject. Again, just making use of their features to make your life easier. And there we go. So there's the subject selected quite well. And what I tend to do with the subject selected is just give it a touch more brightness than it has already, and it just allows the subject to pop a little bit more and add a bit of contrast as well. And as you can see, that really sort of makes the image pop. And then we can increase the shadows slightly again, just a tiny bit. You don't need very much at all. And this just allows you to see into those engines a little bit more. And then just drop the highlights ever so slightly as well, just so that you're not overblowing those whites. I'd say that's getting there, not looking too bad at all. And then if we want to just bring out the colours a bit more on the aircraft, we can increase our saturation a little bit as well. There we go, not looking too bad. And that's pretty much all we'll want to do on here. However, one final step that I do like to do is just increase the sharpness a little bit on the subject. I'm pretty fortunate. I don't really need to improve the sharpness too much on this image, but we'll give it a little nudge as well. And you can add a tiny bit of texture as well. You don't want to overdo this, guys, but this just brings out a little bit more of the detail. Now, once we've done that, we can come off the mask and we're back to our image. Next, I'm going to select the healing brush tool, and there's a little button down here called Visualize Spots. We're going to click that, and as you can see here, this just shows us if we've got any lens spots on the image. And looking at this, I think we're quite good, which is good. It makes a change. Usually my camera is prone to these lens spots, but I can't see any major ones there. They do tend to become a bit more defined when you are editing your images, but I think on this one we're looking okay. So now we're back to editing the image as a whole, and this is where we can make our final adjustments to the image if there's anything we want to improve. So I think overall we can just give it a touch more contrast and potentially a little bit of dehaze. And can we get away with, oops daisy, see if we can get away with a little bit more exposure, but I don't think we can. And we're just going to dial back that contrast and just lift the blacks up, I think, a little bit. And there we go. I'd say that's looking pretty good. Just having a one last flick through to make sure we're not missed anything. But no, I think there we are. We're looking pretty good. In terms of the temperature of the image, you can make a slight adjustment on this if you wish, just to lean it a little bit away from the blues. I'd say something like that is looking quite good. And there we go. That's pretty much a completed image, guys, as far as I'm concerned there. Final stage for this is exporting the image. So we'll go to the export window. This will ask us where we want to export the image. So we're just going to export it to a picture folder there. And it will also ask us whether we want to resize the image. Now, I won't do on this occasion, but if you are posting it to social media, I would recommend that you reduce the image size if you've got a high pixel resolution like I have here. Just check how your camera is, what sort of resolution you're getting out of it, and potentially resize it, because if you upload a really high scale image to social media, it'll just compress it and it'll look rubbish. So reduce that size if you're going to be posting it to social media. And you can sharpen for screen as well if you wish as well. You can add your watermark down here. We've just got the Airliners Live logo, and then we're just going to click export. And there we have it, guys. There's the finished image of the Cathay Pacific A350 lining up at Manchester Airport, taken on our photography vlog. If you've got any questions about how I edit my photos, please put them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer those as soon as I can. If you want us to make any future videos on photo editing or any photo topics, let us know in the comments as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.